Today we're going to show you a new feature in Lien Law called Adjustments. The Adjustments feature is for when you want to adjust down a time entry on a specific invoice, bringing it from, say, 10 hours to 5, and making sure that information is tracked and not lost. Lien Law software makes sure to present to the client the 5 hours and also captures that 5 hours has been written down for that client. Lien Law tracks the difference between hours tracked and hours billed. This is not something on your balance sheet or even your profit and loss statement in terms of the classic write-down of bad debt. It's more of that internal decision. A lawyer might look at the invoice for her client and say, "My paralegal took too long on that task, and a client should not have to pay for all of those hours, so I will adjust it." Lien Law captures the amount of money adjusted. I'm going to show you the invoice for a divorce case. Here you can see Rachel Zane billed 1 hour and then Fred booked 1 hour. Then there are these two transactions at 14 hours. It might be that preparing a state tax return for 7 hours is too much time, or maybe the client just won't pay for it. I can decide to make that adjustment. This is different from removing or editing it or adjusting it to 0. I changed the time down to 3 hours, so it changes the amount to $12.75 from the original $29.75. The client is invoiced for 3 hours at $425. The total is $12.75, and we still track the original 7 hours. That's very important for looking at that through a client lens. How much did I write down on the client or even for the timekeeper? I saved that. Now that entry has been saved at 3 hours, and we've also captured that 4 hours that could have been lost in the ether of billing. Let's look at how we deal with that adjusted time in reports. I go to the reports shortcut here. I went to reports, and then on the left-hand side, we see timekeeper productivity and productivity by client. We are looking at timekeeper productivity. What this means is that we're looking at all of our users in the firm, and I've sorted these by adjustments. I could filter by total hours tracked or billed. There are all sorts of different variables. I'm most interested in these two columns. I can see Mike, Rachel, and Courtney all have had adjusted time. As I take a closer look, I can see Courtney had 14 hours of billed time, 2 hours adjusted. So her total was 14.7 minus 2, which is 12.7. She had an additional 11 hours of non-billable time that could be in fixed fees or something that was marked as non-billable. The value over time is $1,100, but the billed value is $952. So the discrepancy is $150, which is 13%. So Courtney had a 13% markdown. Mike's markdown was $400, but it was only 1% of the total. Some law firms might look at the percentage marked down, some at the total amount. If I want to take an even closer look, I can take a look at what Courtney is writing down. Here are all of Courtney's clients. I can see that York was the company and that the write-down was 25%. And she also did that one with Jared, 50%, so she can see those are the two matters. If I need to get into the details and understand a little bit better, I can actually see which two time entries were written down. You can start to look at patterns. Is there a certain type of tasking that always seemed to be written down for Courtney? If so, you have an opportunity to put her in a different position in the firm where she can be more productive or coach her on certain tasks. The second lens to look through is at productivity by client, for which clients you might have to adjust down time. I'm looking at all clients here, and I can see the same hierarchy of data. I sort by adjustments and can see that this matter with Jared, the divorce proceedings, the markdown is considerable, 30%, for a $1,900 write-down. When I go in a little bit deeper, I can see again who the timekeepers are that adjusted the time, and I can see that Fred Taylor marked down the most time. 57% of his time was marked down. And if I go into the minutia of it and look at the data, I can see he marked down 4 hours at $425 an hour. All of this data is exportable and printable to Excel sheets to use for further analysis. That is our new write-down feature, the idea of writing down the time entry but still keeping track of the original time entered. You can capture what was written down and present the client with the adjusted amount. Thanks for watching.